Hey everyone, welcome back to Tank Control Games. Today I'm going to show you how to spawn bullet hole decals using a single texture atlas. The setup is more memory efficient and scalable than using multiple decal textures, since all bullet holes share one texture and one master material, with variation being driven by material parameters. If that sounds useful, like and subscribe and we'll get started. For this tutorial I'm using Unreal 5.7.2 and the Shooter Arena template, so go ahead and create a new project using that setup. I've also added a couple of bullet hole sprite sheets to the video description that I grabbed from a forum post on real-time VFX, so if you're into VFX at all, I highly recommend checking out their site. It's packed with amazing resources and a ton of shared knowledge from the community. Okay, so when the shooter template loads, let's go to Window and then find World Settings, and then we're going to go under Game Mode Override and we're going to switch this to be BP Shooter Game Mode. So after you do that, if you click play, you'll see this first-person character with this HUD. Then we want to pick up a rifle weapon, so let's do pickup and then find BP shooter pickup, drag that into the scene, and then go under the details panel and find weapon type and then data table and row name, and we're just going to set row name to be rifle. So now when you click play, that pickup will turn into the rifle, and if you walk over it, you'll get the rifle and you can shoot these kind of wobbly projectiles. And instead of doing that, we're going to change this so that it's actually spawning our decals. So what we can do now is go under content drawer and then find our BP shooter weapon base and double click that actor open. So inside that actor, we'll see our fire bullet function. And if we double click that open, you'll see this is where we're spawning that projectile. We're just going to delete that. And instead of firing the projectile, we're going to spawn a line trace instead. So let's add a new function and call it weapon line trace. And because this is a first person character and we want our line trace to kind of aim towards the center of the screen where the reticle is, we're going to use the camera position to actually calculate the line trace. So let's right click and get player camera manager and then drag off of that and do get camera location. And we also want camera rotation as well. Then off of rotation, drag out and let's do get forward vector from the rotation. And then we're going to multiply that by our weapon range. So you can just right click on the second pin and do to float. And then we're just going to hard code something like 10,000 in there. Next, drag off of that and add a plus. And then we're going to add our camera location to our forward vector multiplied by the range. And then we can get our trace node. So let's search for line trace by channel. And then the start is just going to be the camera location. And then our end is going to be start position added to our range. So just like that. And then one other thing we can do here, just for debug purposes, let's set the draw debug to for duration. And then let's drag off of actors to ignore and do make array. And then let's just get player pawn. And we'll just make sure we're ignoring the player with our trace. Cool, so let's just hook up the start of our function to this node. And then let's run a test real quick just to make sure that it's tracing correctly. So drag your weapon line trace function out and then just hook it up where the projectile used to be. And then click play. And then you can see as we're firing, the line trace is firing directly towards where the reticle was. Let's go back to our function. And then instead of hooking this up like this, we're actually going to make this a pure function. And then inside our function, let's add a return node. And then we're going to return the hit result. And we're also going to return the direction that we're firing. So to get the direction, it's really easy. All you need to do is subtract the end location with the start location. So drag off of your end location and then search for subtract, and then drag off of the start and just plug that into the bottom node. Then you want to drag off of the subtract node and get a normalize. And then that is your direction. So we just plug that straight into the return node and we'll just call it direction. Cool. So hit compile. And then if we go back out, now we have a function that gives our hit result and the direction. So before spawning our decal, we actually want to check that we are the player character, and we just want to do this because in this particular project setup, if we don't, you'll have AI using your camera location to spawn decals, and that'll be incorrect. So what we want to do is get player pawn, and then get owner, so the owner of this weapon, and just check that they are the same. And if they're not, we'll do nothing, but if they are, we'll spawn our decal, so hook up a branch. And then we also only want to spawn the decal if we have a valid hit. So let's drag off of our out hit and break hit result. And actually, let's just make another branch. Cool, so now you'll only spawn when you are the player character and you have a blocking hit. Then let's right click and add spawn decal at location. And then for the location itself, that's going to be really easy. It's just going to be either our location or impact normal from our hit result. So you can just hook that up like that. And then to calculate rotation, what we can do is get our direction and then find project vector onto plane. And then V is going to be our direction. And then for the plane normal, it's just going to be your impact normal. And then we also need to multiply our impact normal by -1. And then we can take our projected vector onto the plane and normalize it. And then we can drag off of that and do make rot from Z and X. And then Z is going to be the projected plane, and then X will just be our impact normal times -1. So all this code is going to do is it's basically just going to make sure a decal stays flush to whatever surface that we hit. And this will just rotate the decal correctly, regardless if we hit a wall or the floor. So just drag that into rotation. So now we have our location and rotation set, but we don't have a decal. And you know what, also for decal size, let's just set this ahead of time. So we'll just make this 10. 10 for X, Y, and Z. And then for lifespan, we'll just put 5 for now, so the decal will destroy itself after 5 seconds. And then next we can create our decal. So let's find wherever you saved your textures in the description of the video. So I have these T bullet holes metal and T bullet holes wood. So these are called sprite sheets or an atlas texture. And basically it's just a gridded texture that has a different type of bullet hole for each index on the grid. And then I have 2 different sizes here that we'll use to test. So we have one for these kind of metal bullet holes and then one for these wooden ones. And the woods are 4x4 and then the metal ones are 8x8. And we're going to be using both of these, so I can show you how in a second. Let's start by, in our content drawer, right-clicking on the metal ones and do create material. And we're just going to call this m_bullet decal master. And then the first thing we're going to do in this material is change the material domain. So let's set our material domain to be deferred decal. And then for blend mode, we're going to set it to be translucent gray transmittance. And then we can drag off of our alpha and plug that straight into opacity override. And then that'll get rid of the white background. So now you'll see by default, it's going to show the entire grid. And we want to set this so that we can show just one index on the grid at a time. And to set that up, the first thing we're going to do is calculate the atlas tile size. So let's get a scalar. And then this one we're going to set as a default of 1. And then we want a parameter for our columns. So make another scalar. And to make a scalar, you just press 1 on the keyboard and click anywhere on the graph. And then right click on it and do convert to parameter, and we're going to call this columns. And then the default value for that can be 8 to match our texture we have here. So let's take 1 and do divide and divide by the columns. And then we want to do the same, but for rows. So you can copy those nodes, make another scalar parameter, and just call that rows. And it will also be 8. And then you can append both of those together using append vector. And then we'll just add a comment and we'll call that calculate atlas tile size. Then what we're going to do, we're going to make another scalar parameter. So press 1 again, convert to parameter, and call this atlas index. And this will be the parameter that we set in the blueprint. So it doesn't need a default. You can just keep it at 0. And then we can drag off of that and do fmod. And then we can get our columns and hook that up to the fmod, and then drag off of that and get an append. And then copy both of those nodes again. And then instead of fmod for the second one, do divide. Okay, then off of our divide node, let's drag out and get a floor node, and we'll just hook that up to the append. And then let's comment this section, so drag this down a little bit. And for this, we'll say select atlas row Y, and then for the top, select atlas column X. And then for our append node, we'll just add a comment too, and this is just build tile UV offset. Then we want to scale that tile offset by the tile size. So we can take our tile size and do multiply, and then just connect these nodes. And let's just comment that. And then we need to get a texture coordinate, and then drag off of that node and search for multiply. And then we'll hook up our tile size to that. So when we multiply our texture by the tile size, we'll call that scale base UVs to tile. And then we can drag off of our scale tile offset by tile size and get an add node. And then we'll just add these two together. And then let's drag out our texture sample and just connect that to the UVs. And you'll see once we do that, now we're only seeing one of the bullet holes. And then we can also make this texture sample a parameter. So do convert to parameter and call it bullet texture, or maybe bullet hole texture. And then just to be super detailed with our comments, we'll call this combine scaled UVs plus offset. And just call this one Atlas tile index. Cool, so that's everything we need for this logic. So to test that this is working, if we go to our Atlas index and then drag the default value, now you'll see it kind of slides through all of our columns, and we can see all the different types of bullet hole decals. So to actually utilize this in our blueprint, where we're spawning the decal first, let's just set this to be our decal master. So bullet decal master. And then now off of this node, let's drag out and let's create a material dynamic instance. So, and then from here, what we're going to do is we're going to get our parameter values for both our columns and rows. So let's drag off of our mid and then do get scalar parameter value. And we'll actually get two of these nodes. And we want to get one for our columns and one for our rows. So that's just going to get whatever our default values are set for these parameters. And then what we can do is we can drag off of the return value for each of these. Let's get a truncate. And this is just going to make these floats an integer. And we'll do that for both columns and rows. And then let's multiply those together. And then drag off of the multiply and get random integer. And that's just going to get a random int within the full tile size. Okay, so now let's drag off of our material instance again, and let's do set scalar parameter value. And then now we're going to set our Atlas index. So we'll type that there. And then this is going to choose which of the bullet decals to pick from our full grid. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to use our random int and generate it every time we want to spawn a bullet hole decal. But we also want to check that we're not using the one we just previously used, just so that there's not any repeats. What we can do is get a select node off of our value. Okay, and then for our index, we're going to do a check and see whether our last index is equal to the current one. So let's drag off of this select return value, do truncate again, and then we're just going to promote that to a variable, and we're going to call that last bullet decal index. And then we're going to check whether our new random int is equal to that previous index. And then if it is, what we can do is take our random int and just add 1 to it. And then we'll just rearrange these nodes a little bit to give us some more room. And if it's not equal, then we just use our random int as is. So just hook that up to the false. Cool, so that should work, and let's just hook that up here. And then just to clean things up, let's add a few reroute nodes. Okay, so that's a little cleaner. This should be everything we need to choose a random index and make sure that we're not repeating the previous one. So let's hook everything up. So just off of our last true pin, we'll just hook our spawn decal up. And then we can rearrange this a little bit. So let's just pull that down. And I think we're ready to test, so let's do compile and go back to our first person game mode and pick up the rifle. And then let's just go to the wall. And yeah, now you can see we're spawning the decals when we shoot. And let's just turn off our line trace so it's a little easier to see. So go back to our line trace function. And then instead of duration, let's just do none. So compile again, go back, and test one more time. And there you go. So now if I go really close, you'll be able to see that we're getting the same one quite frequently, actually. Okay, so I figured out where we went wrong. I spelled Atlas wrong. So for the actual parameter, I have Altus index. So let me just make that actually Atlas. So, we'll just delete these just to be super safe. And let's just make a new parameter, Atlas index. Make sure it's spelled properly. And then we'll hook this up to both X and Y and click apply. So let's grab the rifle again and go up to the wall. Yep, and there you have it. So now it's spawning a different decal every time we fire. and we can shoot on the walls and on the ground, and it's all working. So one last thing we can do, just to show you, because we made this a master material, we can right click and do create material instance, and then let's just call this one MI, and then we'll make this for bullet decal wood. So we'll do this for the wooden texture. And then if we double click our instance, we'll have at the top here our different parameter values. So if we look at this texture, if we swap our bullet hole texture for the wooden one, you'll notice this is a 4x4. So we just have to set our columns and rows to be 4x4, and then it should work correctly for this material as well. And then because of the way we set this up, we can have any amount of rows and columns, and it should always work. So let's set this to be bullet decal wood, do compile, and let's click play again. And now we should see our wooden texture. And they are changing. They're very subtle on this one, so it's probably harder to see than the differences between the metal version, but they are changing. Alright, so I think that's where we're going to wrap this tutorial. Just a quick and efficient way to use sprite sheets and texture atlases for bullet hole decals. If you've got a lot of characters firing at once, especially with a full auto weapon like this rifle, we'll probably also want to look into pooling your decals. That's something we can definitely cover in a future tutorial. So hopefully you found this useful. If you did, consider liking and subscribing for more Unreal tutorials, and feel free to join the Discord if you want to dive deeper or ask any questions. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.